Hello. I'm sorry, my hands are shaking. I keep hitting the record button by accident. This started last year, and well, it's a long story. I've been dealing with a ton of emotional issues related to perimenopause. The physical symptoms are tough, but the emotional ones are unbearable. And because I had cancer in the past, I can't take the hormone replacement therapy. So, my primary care manager, my PCM, referred me to an OBGYN. There was no mention of seeing a psychiatrist. I was also put on an antidepressant, and at first, the medication worked. But then, I got a lot worse. A lot worse. I had horrible nightmares, one that felt so real that I didn't even know they were nightmares. I woke my husband up so many times, terrified. And we have an 11-year-old son, an old soul, who I homeschool. And unfortunately, he's home watching me go through this emotional roller coaster. My husband had a training he had to leave for. He didn't want to leave me in this state. So I suggested we follow my OBGYN's advice and see a psychiatrist to get some help and peace of mind before he left. But to do that, if you know the system, I needed to go back to my PCM to get a referral. So I had an appointment day before Thanksgiving. My PCM asked me a bunch of questions, and I was honest. I told I told him I had suicidal thoughts, but I knew that I wasn't going to act on them. That I knew that these were the hormones talking, and it wasn't me. I said I have a wonderful husband, an amazing life, and like it wasn't even an option I would even consider. The next thing I know, they're putting me in a room. What? I'm sorry. I'm trying to hold it together. It's kind of hard reliving this. They put me in a room with a man sitting outside just watching. And they tell me that because I'm a military spouse and not an active duty member, they can't treat me with a psychiatrist at their hospital for behavioral health. I'm like, excuse me? I just want a peace of mind and know that I had a referral and could get help. I told them that I had a neighbor and that when my husband's away, I call her when I'm feeling down. But they said that because I had suicidal thoughts, that they had to treat me as a suicidal person, even though I explicitly stated that these were just occasional thoughts and I had no intention to act on them. So they put me in that room, and I was in there for 4 days. 4 days without psychiatric care. They couldn't find space in any psych hospitals in Virginia Beach. So they sent me to Raleigh, North Carolina. They put me in an ambulance and they took me there. And I went voluntarily only because my husband looked up the process and saw that if I went voluntarily, they could only hold me for 72 hours. It was the worst 72 hours of my life. It was horrible. I felt like a crazy person. I kept focusing on there was this one doctor who, before they sent me to North Carolina, told me that if I went to a psych ward, I'd get a psychiatry referral faster. I believed him. coming out, here I was. I didn't belong there. And the clinicians agreed. It felt like it would never end. Finally, when the 72 hours were up, they sent me home. I got the notes I needed to take back to my PCM and finally get a psychiatrist referral. But I still don't have a psychiatrist. Everywhere that except TRICARE has a wait list. That was in November. Today is February 20th, and I still don't have a psychiatrist. My husband got a counseling at work because he missed his training to stay with my son because we didn't have anyone else. We don't have family nearby. And my neighbor, God bless her, works full-time. There are so many of us who aren't getting the treatment we need, who aren't being heard. I hope that sharing my story can at least help one person.
Throughout my military career, my experience with TRICARE has been mixed. While it was beneficial at times, it failed me when it mattered most, especially during major events, mental health crises, and when my family needed immediate care. I frequently felt like I had to act as my own case manager, navigating a confusing system that seemed anything but supportive for service members and their families. My experience was frustrating and disheartening. They say that support is available, but the case managers and ombudsmen who should advocate for service members and their families failed to use their positions to provide meaningful support. During my worst times, I had to seek help outside of TRICARE, turning to military support programs because TRICARE couldn't meet my needs. Even when I fought hard for necessary referrals, TRICARE made decisions to deny care. When I was at my most vulnerable and suicidal, coverage for mental health services was denied. The lack of communication and awareness from TRICARE and some of its providers only worsened my mental health struggles. This failure in healthcare puts national security at risk by not appropriately supporting the health and well-being of the service members and families who dedicated their lives to this country.
We deserve better.